Hello, I'm Connor McReynolds, and as I was cleaning the shower this morning, I refined a process that allows me to keep the temporal shear below human tolerance. So when I tell you that I've designed and built a fully functioning time machine, you're gonna want to believe me. This is the Time Machine Podcast. Each week, I invite one lucky guest to go on a journey through time and space with me. They choose 3 points in time to visit, and I tag along asking them if they fully considered how their actions might impact all life on Earth. But here's the thing. It's all pretend. Don't tell anyone. This week, I am delighted to be joined by the amazing Kayleigh Jones. Kayleigh is currently touring her show, I Fed My Dad to a Pelican, for which she was longlisted for the Best Newcomer Award at last year's Edinburgh Fringe. She is a writer, a singer, a stand-up. Her talents are seemingly endless. I am so excited for you to hear her brilliant choices for her time travel journey. So, without further ado, here is the woman herself, Kayleigh Jones. Kayleigh, thank you so much for being on the Time Machine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. I was so delighted when you agreed to do the podcast.
Oh,
So happy because I saw your amazing show in Oxford a few weeks ago and just loved it. Can you tell us a little bit
thank
about
you.
your show?
Yes, my show is called I Fed My Dad to a Pelican. It's a true story. And it tells the story of me finding out on Christmas Day 2010 that the man I thought was my dad actually isn't. And then it follows kind of my offbeat, crazy journey for 7 years to find my biological father. And then finishes 2 years later with him being fed to a pelican.
It's such an arresting title of a show. Like when I first saw the title, I was like, this is going to be some really weird, obscure kind of
Yeah.
anti-comedy type thing. But no, it's just a really honest, incredible bit of storytelling that, as you say, ends with
It
exactly what it
legit
says
ends
on the
with that.
tin.
Yeah, I've had a few people say that actually in audience reviews when I took it to Edinburgh last year. Quite a lot were like, I was expecting an absurd story, something bizarre, clowning or something, and it was just, it was just a bit of storytelling.
Well, it is more than a bit of storytelling. It involves music and
Yes.
wonderful tech done by your wonderful husband
Yep.
Dan. It's such a it's just such a brilliant piece of storytelling. How has your relationship with the story, because it's obviously such a big personal thing for you,
Yeah.
and you're sort of turning it into comedy for people because it is also really funny.
Yeah.
But how has your sort of personal experience with the story, and yeah, how's it kind of affected you turning it into comedy, I suppose?
It's been a really nice way to look at it. It was what I found amazing when I first started writing it was the bits that I actually didn't think were that interesting in the story and kind of glossed over. And then when in like the first few times when I like did it as a work in progress, would have people being like, "Oh, and what about did you do a DNA test?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, I didn't include any of that." And yeah, so then you start including these other bits that are part of the story, and it kind of develops more because when you're really close to the story, you don't realize the bits that are interesting as much, or do you know what I mean? When you're like
Yeah,
that close
yeah,
to the story, you have to kind of take a step back and go, okay, these people don't know any of this story, so what bits are
yeah,
necessary to give them? And it's been really enjoyable to do, and a lot's changed in my life since doing it. My mum passed away in 2024, and she is a big part of the show.
yes,
And
yeah.
she saw the show in 2024 actually, and she loved it, which was
Oh,
lucky because
brilliant.
she is such a big character in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so it was kind of strange because it's obviously about me finding my dad, but I've processed it all enough to be able to tell the story without it affecting me emotionally. But then to do the story after my mum had died was felt a bit, oh, okay, this is tougher. But
yeah, yeah,
it's still I'm still really enjoying it, and it changes every time I do it depending on the audience. And
yeah.
yeah.
It's I mean, and you tell it so brilliantly, and there are parts of it that could be really painful or too dark or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, you just pitch it so perfectly. Like there's a lightness of touch to all of it that it's such a fascinating story. And yeah, I was so delighted to have seen it. And you're touring the show for a little while yet, so hopefully people
Yes.
can get along and see it. I'm gonna add links in the episode description to your website
Amazing.
and your social media. So yes, I wholeheartedly encourage people to see your show because it's breathtaking.
Yes, please
Um,
do.
and sort of moving toward our jaunt in the time machine
Yeah.
today. Um, your choices, I love them. I just love them. And two of them, they're quite personal in
Mm.
in a sort of very literal sense. Like, I think you're being really smart with how you use the time machine. You're kind of thinking, how can I make Kayleigh's life better?
Yeah, it was quite selfish, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is what happens when people get power, isn't it? They're like, use it all for me. That's literally what I did. But I was like, but the last couple of years have been quite tough. I've had like a lot of big life things happen. So straight away I was like, oh my goodness, if I had a time machine, I would go back and I would just change this and change this. And
Yeah.
yeah, so a lot of my choices were selfish. So I had to go back and be like, okay, think like I haven't done any choices where it's like go back and try and change things for the good. But because what's the point? We don't learn from history, do we, as
Yeah,
humans? What have we
exactly. Yeah.
learned? With all the history that we've got, we're still going to war. We're still,
Yeah. Well,
we don't learn.
there's one of your choices that I think we'll talk more along that theme, but you're absolutely right that we kind of
Yeah,
see these huge big things in history, and surely as a species we're like, well, we have to make sure we avoid that mistake
yeah,
again. And then
and we
no.
don't.
No, not at all.
So I might as well use it on myself.
It's not without giving too much away about your choices. You've chosen to go backwards in time and not forwards.
Yeah, I didn't think about that actually. I didn't think about going forwards
Is
or
that just because is it kind of like checking your bank balance? You just sort of try to put it off as long as possible and hope it's
yeah.
not as bad as you fear.
It did, you know, it just didn't cross my mind that you could go forwards.
Oh,
And
in a
yeah,
time
I've not
machine.
watched Back to the Future. I'm very sorry. Yeah, I've
I
seen some time travel-y things where people go backwards, but I've not seen Back to the
I
Future.
think so far on this podcast, I think it's maybe 3 out of the 5 guests so
No
far haven't seen Back
way.
to the Future.
And that
I
I am
am,
that generation as well. So
yeah.
I kind of know the story. I know, I like weirdly know the names. I know there's a guy called Marty. I
There
know
is a
he
guy called Marty.
goes forward, doesn't he, and almost sleeps with his mum.
Backwards.
Oh, he goes backwards.
Yeah, he goes
Oh, that
back
makes
to when his
sense.
mum. Yeah, because it would be
She would
so
recognise him, and
creepy.
that'd be really
He
weird.
was like, I want to shag my mum, but when she's old.
See, this is why I didn't go forward. I don't understand it.
But yeah, it's I think going backwards feels safer, like better the devil you know than the devil you
Yeah.
don't kind of thing.
You get more change, I guess, if you go backwards.
Yeah, have you thought much about the kind of the butterfly effect? The sort of if I change one thing, everything might change.
Yeah, I have a bit because like my choices, one of them, like, without giving too much away, it would change things for me, but it's like, oh, but then maybe what happens to future Kayleigh? What,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's you say, and you're absolutely right. You've had a hell of a lot going on the last couple of years. But you're also, touring your show. You've got your lovely husband. You're
yeah.
doing the thing you want to be doing. So it's a big risk to go back and
It is a
change
big
things in
risk.
case things don't work out. But you could also be like a billionaire, and
Yeah,
it's worth the risk.
it could be worth the risk. I'm willing to take the risk.
I did wonder there's an amazing story that you tell in your show, and I
Yeah.
did wonder whether you might revisit a certain moment, which was when your mum told you she'd booked you for a modeling job. I It would be remiss of me not to take the opportunity for you to share that story on the podcast.
Yes, it's a true story, and I actually shared the images of the newspaper clippings on my Instagram if anybody wants to take a look. But yeah, when I was 18, my mum told me that she had booked us. She did a lot of modelling. My mum was a very beautiful woman. She did a lot of modelling, and she said she had got us booked for this modelling job. And I was like, okay, cool. And off we went to do this photo shoot, and actually ended up in a 2-page spread in the Daily Mirror in a piece called "Help, My Mum's Sexier Than Me." And she is, to be fair. But I was like, oh, okay.
And your
I was
mum, she
18.
knew exactly what the story was, right?
No, I don't think she quite knew. I mean, when I
Okay.
tell it in my show, it's obviously funnier if it if it seems like she knew
Yeah.
full well what she was doing. But no, I think the whole piece was because in the paper it was Priscilla Presley and her daughter and how they look alike. So they were saying it was like
Oh,
another piece similar to that attractive mum and daughter that look alike sort of thing.
wow. So
Um,
somewhere an editor looked at the pictures and was like,
yeah,
I have a new angle for this story.
yeah. Mum's
That
like
is
sexier than her
cold.
daughters.
Well, that is absolutely extraordinary. I mean, so you were 18 at the
Yeah,
time of that picture. Your first spin in the time machine takes us back just a little bit before then, and when you were about 15 years old. You want to go back to Leamington Spa around
yeah,
2001.
yes.
Let's say, can we say September 10th, 2001? Because the world seemed a little bit simpler then. That like after September
The day
10th,
before, yeah.
things got
Yep.
complicated.
Yes, it did.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and you want to go back and you want to have a conversation with younger Kayleigh. Um,
Yeah. I haven't fully thought this through, but in
that's
a
usually a good way to enter a time machine. It's like I haven't really thought it through, but let's see what happens.
it's kind of how my days are going at the minute. Everything's in my life at the minute is very chaotic. I mentioned before we started the podcast about me moving and stuff like that. So everything in my life is quite chaotic, and I have things in the diary and I don't think about it until I'm doing it. And that's exactly how I'd get in the time machine. I'd be like, oh my God, like putting my jacket on, my shoes on, just stumble in and be like, well, yeah, let's just go to ancient Egypt. So, like, absolutely no thought.
Well, your rationale for going back and seeing yourself was really good. You said you wanted to kind of like advise, your younger self,
Yes.
kind of warn young Kayleigh about some of
Yeah.
the stuff that might come up.
So I was thinking, like, when you see these like self-help things, and it's like if you could talk to the younger you tell them everything's going to be all right. I'd be going back and being like, bitch, you've got to sort it out. It is not going to be all right. we can't go on like this. Yeah.
What was 15-year-old Kayleigh like?
She was a little bit sad. She didn't have a good time at secondary school, but then she was about to go to college to do performing arts.
Okay,
And that
yeah.
was very exciting. Really enjoyed that. So I was thinking I would probably say, don't do performing arts. Let's get
Let's get a steady
let's
job.
get a steady job. Let's build some money. Chasing that dream is God, it just leaves you broke. If you
Oh
don't
yeah.
come from money, trying to do performing arts as a working
Yeah.
class person, you then get to your like 20s and you're like, oh, I've got no money and no job prospects.
But it is so much more fun than like working in the city or
It is.
working as an accountant. I
Yeah.
mean, shout out to all the accountants and people
Yeah.
working in the city. We love you. But yeah, you're having more fun than those people.
Yeah. I think I'd tell myself to get into comedy earlier because that is a bit of a
Yes.
regret of mine. Finding it so late and not chasing it as much. Like I had little like I remember sharing a song online in it was 2017. So it was before is that before TikTok? I don't remember having TikTok in 2017, but I shared it on Facebook, and Facebook was kind of a bigger social media thing then, I think.
Yeah.
And it did really well. And I kind of then didn't do anything for a while after that. And what I should have done
Right.
was keep going and
Yeah.
just
Were you funny as a 15-year-old, or like did you think you were funny as a 15-year-old?
yeah. So it was a bit of a, I'd rather be funny than being a teenager, uh, like around boys and stuff. Like I would rather be funny than looked at in any other way. If that
Right.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a bit of a, like, I want to be the funny one. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I think so. I didn't think too much of it. More when I got to college, I really found myself leaning towards the comedy characters in plays and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And when we did musicals, I was never like the lead romance. It would be like the comedy character, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the laugh
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
response, that kind. I got a buzz out of that. So it was definitely something I enjoyed. I just never thought it would be something
Yeah. Of
to go
course.
into.
Do you think if you told 15-year-old Kayleigh that here's what you're going to do comedy, do you think she'd be surprised by that, or she'd be like, oh, that makes sense? Yeah.
I think she'd be surprised, possibly
Okay.
disappointed, because she wanted to be in Les Mis, which is not very funny
Okay.
at all.
No, famously quite unfunny at
Famously
points. Yeah.
unfunny, includes in the title.
What, I mean, you say you wanted to give her, advice. If you could give her like three pieces of advice,
Oh God, yeah.
what do you think you would leave her with?
Um, Start using SPF now,
Okay.
and you won't need to get Botox so early. um, Yes, I think starting comedy early, I think I would encourage her to. I I was never taught to write my own stuff. It was always kind of
Okay.
when you learn acting, when you go
Yeah.
to college and stuff, it's very much like you're waiting for the role. You kind of wait
Yes.
to get sent out. You go to the audition. It's kind of the power's in other people's hands, and I was never really shown that actually you can write and create your own stuff. And so I
Yeah.
think I
Yeah.
would maybe get that into my head
I think
a
that's a
bit,
very
like,
good thing to tell
yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
start writing some stuff, maybe steal some really good jokes from some comedians that are out now, and take them back and be like, here, get these out there before they do. The cracking routine about garlic bread.
Just the full script for Fleabag and just say, perform
Yes,
this when you're 22
yes,
at Edinburgh. Go.
absolutely, yeah, things like that. Just steal really successful comedians' work from now and take it back.
You obviously, this is kind of designed for 2026 Kayleigh to help 2001 Kayleigh.
Mm.
Do you think 2026 Kayleigh could learn anything from 2001 Kayleigh? Like, do you think you would look at yourself and be like, oh, I used to be this, or I used to think this about myself, or my confidence, or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a lot more hope.
And
So
then
depressing.
that was easy, September 10th,
Oh
2001.
yeah. I was probably more hopeful, and I was very naive at 15. Um,
Yeah. But naivety, like,
it's quite sweet, isn't there? There's something
yeah, there's
quite
something about
nice
naivety and
about that.
delusion that you really need for
Yeah,
comedy. Like, because if you went on stage that first time as a comedian and knew how difficult it could be, how hard it can be to make people laugh, how it feels when it doesn't work out, you would
yeah,
never get on stage.
that is true.
So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, not that you've, of course, had the experience of not making roomfuls of people laugh. Like, humble
Oh, I
brag,
have.
I've had it a lot.
I have.
And how do you think? Say we finish our conversation this afternoon, lovely podcast, and then you press hang up on the call, and suddenly Kayleigh from 2046 bursts into the room to give you
Wow.
advice. How would you feel? Would you be terrified? Or would you just be like, ah, that makes sense?
I don't think I'd be terrified, because I'm someone that, like, I don't believe in stuff like ghosts and stuff, but I really want to, and I would love to see one.
Yeah.
So something like that, I would just be like, brilliant, right, tell me what's going on. Like, I would be quite like, sit down, let's have a cup of tea. I want to hear everything.
I think I'd be the same. I think I would be
Yeah,
quite trusting which is probably really dumb of me, but like
yeah,
if old me ran into the room, I would just be like, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
Whereas, like, it can't be good news if you are having to come
having
back
to
from the
travel back.
future. Yeah, like, that's not just to say hi. That's kind of everything's
Warning.
gone wrong. Yeah, it's a great choice. Do you think Kayleigh, armed with a little bit of knowledge, that those bits of advice, getting into comedy and stuff earlier, uh, do you think younger you would have taken it all on board, or do you think you were the kind of person who was like, no, I'm going to forge my own path?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think my brain works like I need to be given specific instructions, otherwise I wouldn't really
Okay.
know what to do. Like
Right,
I
yeah,
have to
yeah.
just give me very specific instructions, like, yeah, on this day you need to do this.
Right,
You know,
okay, yeah.
get
Here's an email address.
his,
Here's what you need to write.
yeah. Contact this guy before he's big.
Well, I think that is a super use of the time machine, and I don't think anybody has. I think Will, in our very first episode, sort of, it wasn't his primary function, but he wanted to go back and revisit New Year's Eve 1999. And I think it was more of a kind of, if I happen to see myself in the past, I'll
Oh,
give him a little bit of advice. But he didn't seem that fussed on seeing himself, whereas yours is a very specific journey back
changed
to
my life.
see.
Yeah, here's some
Yeah.
lottery numbers. Um,
Yeah.
the thing is, though, if I did go back and then do all this, then and become, really successful. I met Dan, my husband, working in Harrods. I wouldn't have worked there, so would I have met him? It does then change
Yeah.
the future. So it's a risky game. Maybe I would just go back and take her to see Destiny's Child because they were big back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Destiny's Child.
Did
I
you?
did. I saw Destiny's Child in Belfast,
Oh
and it
my
was
god.
around the time that Beyonce was in the Austin Powers movie.
Oh
And
yes.
so she came on stage and she sang her,
Fancy Cleopatra.
well, yes, a whole lot of woman.
Yeah.
And what was her song? Got was it "Work It Out"? Was her Austin
Yeah,
Powers
yeah, it
one?
was. Look it
And
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was quite a formative experience for me seeing Beyonce
Mm,
2003 in a pair of hot pants. That
yeah.
there was
I
like a
bet.
before and after in my life, and I think that was very much the turning point for me. You can keep your September 11th, 2001.
Yeah.
That was my that was my life changing
Beyonce,
moment.
2003.
Well, we're going even further back now. Your second choice, and this is a brilliant one. This brings us to a rather tumultuous point in British history, and a particularly dangerous one for women. We're going back to East Anglia 1645, where the self proclaimed witch finder general Matthew Hopkins is operating. And I loved your motivation for going back. You want to go back and you have an idea, you have a plan.
Yeah, I want to get him tried as a witch. I want to go back and like plant something on him that gets him done as obviously this is very risky. Um,
He's, yeah.
I didn't think it through because I was just thinking I'm quite I don't like going out. So like, if there was like a like when I said it to my husband about this, he was like, "Oh, like ancient Egypt and stuff like that," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not interested really." But for
Yeah.
some reason, I find the witch trials fascinating,
Yeah.
and just how it literally just took one person to go, "Oh, I saw a black cat
Yeah.
walk in front of her. You should probably hang her." Like,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, okay, she's a witch." Like, it didn't take much.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of recklessness in me that's like, I want to go back and see if I could survive it.
It's like the ultimate game of paintball.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, go back, wearing very different clothes to everyone else.
Yeah.
No one in the village knows me, and I'm going to show up and get
Be like,
one of
this
the most
guy's a witch.
powerful men in the country tried as a witch.
Yeah, I was thinking of planting like an etch a sketch on him because it wouldn't take much, but like he's erased the picture. He's definitely a witch.
I love an etch a sketch. I was trying to think, and yeah, I was thinking like a Walkman, You could
Yeah.
just record like, "This is Satan. Thank you for
Oh,
all your
that's
great work,
clever.
Matthew Hopkins."
Yeah.
But actually, Etch a Sketch is so much
Yeah,
simpler.
I don't think you have to go that far out, or maybe take a bottle of Pantene back and just be like, "Look how shiny his hair is, he's definitely a witch."
He has the shiny and full locks of a horse. He must be a witch. It's where did your fascination with this kind of time period come from?
I think I went through a very feminist era. It was before I got into comedy, actually, and I was trying to write a play. I was researching the old, I know it was comedy. I was researching the New Testament, and I was writing a bit on like how there's not hardly any women in the Bible and stuff like that. As you know, you were Catholic, and so I was getting all these interesting facts, and then I kind of went off on this like just this trail and ended up in the witch trials and just started reading about it. And I'd never heard of Matthew Hopkins and read that he used like a retractable blade
Yeah,
and a retractable prick to make sure that they wouldn't bleed when he pricked them and
yeah,
stuff like that. And I just found that I was like, wow, that's such a man thing to do. I was like, oh my god, I've just found it fascinating. It just didn't take
yeah,
much to get people hung as a witch, but
yeah. It's the burning. Like it's just such a huge, obvious miscarriage of justice,
yeah,
and because it just seems so like literally unbelievable. And what's so horrible about so much of it is like there's got to be like at least 75% of people who were accusing other people of being witches knew that it was bullshit. Like some people
yeah,
might have believed it, but it was just like it showed the kind of people's capacity for like unchecked cruelty.
yes.
I
I
mean,
don't know if we've changed, like everything now. It's like everything's blame the immigrants, blame people on
yeah,
benefits. It's still kind of pointing the finger. Anything that's
yeah.
wrong is pointing the finger, and yeah. I just kind of want to go into one of the courtrooms there and be like, "Are you serious? This guy is saying he saw her turn into a horse. It's not real, is it? Like
Yeah.
nobody's seen this."
Well, it's funny you say that. There are some absolutely extraordinary accusations and sort of reasons why people
Yeah.
claim. So I want to give you a few of these, and I want to see if you can tell me if it's real or if it's
Okay.
made up. Okay, so I'm going to read you out some accusations, and I want you to tell me real or fictional.
Okay.
So number one is giving the devil a bowl of oatmeal in exchange for killing a neighbor's cattle.
I'm gonna say real.
That is real.
Yeah.
Rebecca West of Essex turned informant to save herself, and she said that the devil appeared as a very proper young man, demanded a bowl of oatmeal, and in
Cool.
exchange he killed her neighbor's cows. As the devil would do, obviously. Give me porridge, then I'll do evil.
Yeah.
But not before my
Can't do that
porridge.
on an empty stomach.
That was the original, like, not before my coffee. It was
Yeah.
like, don't
Not before
even
my
talk to
porridge.
me about evil until I've had my porridge. So, yes, giving the devil a bowl of oatmeal was a real accusation. The second is cleaning the house with unnatural speed.
I do that now. I would definitely be hung as a witch. Oh my goodness. I feel like they're all gonna be true. I'm gonna say not true.
It is true.
Yeah.
Mary Johnson was a housemaid and was said to be able to, and I quote, carry out the ashes and sweep the floor in the time it took to blink an eye. And my first thought was, and you're firing this woman? Like,
Yeah.
she can clean your house so quickly and efficiently. Shut up and keep this witch in your house. Like, what a gift.
Look how clean your house is.
Yeah.
Also, are you blinking or did you fall asleep and then open your eyes and your house was clean? Maybe you're a witch.
So, yes, that is the second one is also real. Number
Mm.
three, communicating with a familiar through expelling rectal gases. known as playing the trumpet of the devil.
I mean, that's hilarious. Now I feel like this one's not true because the other two were true, but I feel like it just could be true. I feel like they're all true.
You might be onto something. That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Style was accused of emitting loud sounds from her rear, upon which a large black dog or housefly would immediately appear in the room. This poor
What a
woman was
party trick.
farting flies, and everyone was like, "Witch!" Uh, and unbelievably, she was not the only woman who was accused of being a witch because of her farts. In
Wow.
other cases against women who farted, it was referred to as the devil speaking through the wrong mouth.
Amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
That is amazing.
The hissing of the serpent and poisoning the air. And one woman who farted during prayer was accused of intentional blasphemy. How bad do your farts have to be accused of being blasphemous?
That's hilarious. I'm going to go back
See,
to my idea of writing about this. This is brilliant.
do you know what? I only found out about that because I really wanted to have a fake one in there. So I typed into sorry, I used AI partly for this. And I asked, have there ever been any documented cases of women being accused of being a witch because they farted? There were like 15 that Google threw out at me straight away. So yeah,
I
you
mean,
could
the
just be accused
reason
for
people
anything.
were accused was so ridiculous, it's going to be hard to make one up that's
Yeah.
not something that they've been accused of. Yeah.
Another one was producing more butter from one cow than should have been possible. So Elizabeth Weed was seen to be churning while chanting a rhythmic, nonsensical verse to herself, which led people to accuse her of calling upon the spirit of the milk, which stole the neighbours' cows by magic.
Wow.
I mean, but the problem with that is this poor woman was just churning butter, and to pass the time,
She was
she's
probably
just like
singing or
talking to herself,
yeah.
singing to herself. Like, do you worry in the time machine? You're going back. Have you got any little like habits that if someone saw you walking through a forest, would you be talking to yourself, singing to yourself?
Yeah, I'm also not that socially friendly, and I know a lot of women were killed for being like not friendly or like getting into an argument. I'm like, oh, I'd definitely be called a witch.
It is. It's such a risky choice. I love that you've
Yeah,
made
I
it.
don't know why I chose it, but there is something in me that's a bit like you know when you just think, oh, these things can't happen to me. I'll be fine if I went back. I just feel like there's some arrogance there. I feel like I could talk my way out of it in in the
So the
courtroom.
the woman who has a show called I Fed My Dad to a Pelican
Yeah,
is thinking, this is too strange to be real. It couldn't happen to me. You fed your dad to a pelican. Anything
yeah,
can
that's
happen to you,
true.
Kayleigh.
I know. I haven't thought this through. I'm not coming back, am I?
it's it is like, I mean, it's such a fascinating time, and weirdly I was kind of looking to see like different regions and
Mm,
how many people were accused and how many people were executed after being accused and that kind of thing. And England, there were only about, I say only, sort of around 2,000 people apparently were
yeah.
accused, and about 500 people were executed. Um, Whereas in Scotland, around 3,000 people were
Wow.
accused and 2,000 were executed. And then I started looking, and I'm Irish, and I
Yeah.
looked at Ireland. Fewer than 50 people were accused, and only four confirmed executions, one of which was a man.
Oh,
I never thought that Ireland would be more
or
socially
equality.
liberal than,
Well,
yeah. But like, we are positively feminist here, like killing one man for witchcraft and only three women. But yeah, it's I think even your choice of like going to sort of around the time of the Witchfinder General, probably a
mm,
good shot. If you'd gone to Scotland, I think you'd have been done
I'd be
for.
gone.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But he made himself that. He gave himself that title.
Yeah.
Like he just went round and was like, right, I'm this. And
Yeah.
called himself the Witchfinder. No one gave him that position. He just took it upon himself and just started killing people and made
It's
loads of money out of it.
it's so mad. You're absolutely right. Like he was in his 20s as
I
well.
know.
Like what a creepy little
Yeah, that's
incel.
so creepy. I'm definitely planting an etch a sketch on him.
I just think it's so strange that, like, if you think about where you are now in the world, if some little jumped up 20-year-old
I
incel came
know.
into your town and was like, I'm gonna kill women,
Yeah.
everyone would be like,
He's like,
fuck
shut up.
off. Go away, grow up, yeah. Go and follow Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that there's like this kind of. Do you think that it's a kind of a precursor? You mentioned earlier how the how we don't really learn, and obviously this was very
Mm.
much about othering women, and a lot of the time it was women who maybe didn't fit very neatly into kind of the sort of societal roles or expectations of them.
Yeah, it was poor
Typically
women, wasn't it? It was usually poor
poor
women,
women,
older women.
older, like any sort of physical difference
Yes. Yeah.
they'd have been picked on. Do you think you've said we don't really learn it, and you've
Mm.
I think absolutely rightly drawn the parallel between kind of what we did to witches and what we're doing to migrants, or in the 1930s it was Jewish people.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We always
So there's
find a scapegoat.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you've also talked about not being very hopeful. Do you think there's reason for that? Like, do you think we're ever going to learn our lesson?
It doesn't look like it, does it?
No.
Because I just feel like we just repeat. It seems like we make progress, and then it then flips again,
Yeah.
and we just seem to. Oh, humans ruin everything. I was watching a David Attenborough last night, and, and I got really upset. Like when they release the turtles and they follow the light of the moon into the
Oh
water,
yeah.
because humans have now like so much light pollution, they're getting disorientated and they're
Oh
following the
no.
lights back to the road, and I just think, oh God, we ruin
Oh
everything, and
no.
we're just a selfish species. Stockpiling toilet roll, stealing all the petrol. Like we're very me. I don't think we're learning. It's progressed. Like when I was thinking of the time machine, I was like, there's not many safe times to go back to as a woman. Like,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
going back in history, I obviously chose one of the unsafest times to go back to.
Yeah.
But I was,
Yeah, there are
I was
times that aren't great, and then there are times that are
really
just
bad.
insane. But yeah.
And I chose that one. But obviously, there's other interest. Time of Jesus. So just sit in that tomb with him and see if he does rise from the dead. Like what was he even dead in the first place? Um, but yeah, and I don't know if we. It's obviously got better, but in general, we're not learning, are we?
Unfortunately, not.
No.
No, I think if you take away one thing, it's that we're fucked. We're fucked because we're essentially a pretty stupid species, and
Yeah.
we keep making the same mistakes. In England, a formal pardon or apology has never been offered to women convicted of witchcraft. In Scotland, in 2022, Nicola Sturgeon offered an official apology for egregious historic injustice. Do you think that an apology now or a pardon would make a difference to anyone?
Do you know, this is going to sound really depressing. I don't know if it would, because I don't think people care about women as much because we don't talk about the witch. It was a whole group of
Yeah,
people that were kind of vilified and killed for it's kind of a big group of people that were treated so badly, and it doesn't get spoken about that much. But when there's other things that happen to other groups of people, we kind of
yeah.
it's a bit of a thing. There might be a special memorial day. Is there a day to remember the women that were murdered
It's a
as witches?
really good question. I don't
Maybe
know.
we should
I'm
start one.
sure.
Make it
Yeah,
today, 6th of May.
yeah. That would be amazing. I think that I've listened to some really interesting documentaries on Radio 4. There's one particularly called Witch, which I think you would quite enjoy. And it's sort of
Okay.
about kind of about the history of it, and also kind of women who nowadays have kind of tried to reclaim the word and what it sort of means, and the
Yes.
nature of the kind of the coven, or the nature of kind of female relationships and stuff. And it's really, really fascinating. And yeah, I would recommend it. I don't really have a follow up to that, but I would just, it's a little bit of additional after you finish this episode, dear listener,
Yeah.
go and check it out, because it's an incredible period of history. Like, there are these points in history where women have been treated so abysmally. I mean, in the very recent past as well. Like, I'm
Mm.
Irish.
Yes.
The Magdalen laundries in Ireland are, it boils my blood to
Mm.
think about them. They are such a historic injustice, and so recently, like the last Magdalen laundries closed in the 1990s.
Oh my
You know,
God, that's
yeah,
so
like
recent.
Sinead O'Connor was in Magdalen
Yeah,
laundries
yeah,
in
yeah.
the 80s. Um, Absolutely incredible. The church, the Catholic Church, still are unwilling to give up any paperwork that might help reunite families.
Oh, it's
They
horrible,
have
isn't it?
consistently refused to um, offer any compensation, for any funds, even when governments are kind of paying out to victims and stuff. The church
Mm.
have staunchly refused to cooperate with any investigations. And this is so recent. Like, we're talking about going back to 1640s when women were
Yeah.
treated abysmally. But in the UK and Ireland, there were these mother and baby homes. There were these practices where the church worked with governments to send babies to America, like to sell
Yes.
babies, and families were, So yeah, it's as
My nan's
as
sister was sent to one. My grandmother, she was born in Kinsale,
oh my god,
and her sister got pregnant out of wedlock, and it was called, she was sent over the hills. That's what they used to say, sent over the hills.
yeah,
And
yeah,
she got
yeah.
sent to like a convent, and she
Oh
came back alone. She escaped, but not with her baby.
jeez, oh
That's-
man, like I'm a feminist.
Mhm.
I think most nice normal people
Yeah.
are, but I don't know how women don't just riot all the time. Like, how can women just not be furious every single
So
fucking day?
tired.
Like, it's tiring. Yeah,
I think I am angry. I think that's why I wanted to go back to the witch trials. I was like, I'm going to kill that witch hunter. I'm going to get him. I'm going to witch.
I would be 100% in favor of that. I'm right there with you. Well, to get away from the anger and the upset, your
Yeah,
third and final choice is a lot more fun. Although
yeah.
there is also a theme that we'll revisit. We are going to Hollywood in the 1930s, and to set the scene, talking movies have overtaken the silent movie era, and
Yes.
the age of big screen musicals like 42nd Street, The Wizard of Oz, and Top Hat are taking the world by storm. Ginger Rogers is one of the biggest stars in the world. She's singing, she's dancing, she's tapping her way into Hollywood history books. But you, Kayleigh, want to go back with your tap shoes in hand and nab some of her roles.
Absolutely. I always grew up watching, I used to go to my grandparents a lot, and there was always these old black and white movies on. They're tap dancing and singing. And I used to tap dance and I sing. And then, like, as you get older, like nowadays, you don't have to be able to sing and dance to be in a film. But back then, it was you had to be a triple threat. And I always
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
God, if I was around then, I might have made it as a film star. So I'd like to go back and with my tap shoes and see if I could get cast
I
in
love it. I
42nd
mean,
Street in top hat and be the next Ginger Rogers.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who can tap dance before.
I
Or
know.
maybe I have and it just never came up, but I feel like it should. If you can tap dance, that should be the first thing you say to everyone. Hi, I'm Kayleigh and I can tap dance. Like, what an icebreaker.
It's not a very sexy dance style, is it? Have you seen a tap shoe? it's not,
It's
it's
there's
the
got
most
to be like a
ridiculous.
league table of sexy dancers. Charleston is at the bottom.
Yeah, Morris dancing might be at the
Oh,
bottom.
Morris is
Yeah,
below the bottom.
but below,
Yeah.
yeah, below the bottom. It's underground.
But yeah, tap is, maybe there's a sexy tap out there. Listeners, if you happen to know of any sexy tap dancing, please let us know.
Yeah. I'd be interested to
But
see some
yeah.
sexy tap dancing.
Did you learn this when you studied performing arts? Was this a thing? Or was
I
this from
did it.
watching the films at your grandparents and self taught?
I did it as a kid. So I used to go to ballet and tap on a Saturday morning, and then I carried on with it. And then yeah, at performing arts college, we did tap, and I was never very balletic. I couldn't, I was,
Okay.
so tap was good for me because it's a messy kind of dance
Okay.
style,
Yeah.
uh, and I just picked it up. And yeah, I also find just it just makes me laugh. I think tap dancing, yeah, I just love it. And
It's
also,
very joyful.
yeah, and we're coming from a big Irish family as well. I have a lot in the family that do Irish dancing.
Yeah.
Some of them do it with the tap shoes. Like there's something about the rhythm that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find really impressive.
Did you do Irish dancing as well?
A little bit, but my cousins did it more so, and
Yeah.
they had the green outfits and
Oh, yeah. And the
yeah,
massive, massive hair.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the thing. I could never get my hair that big, so I could never do it. You said when you were telling me about this choice, and I think it's a brilliant choice, that you feel like you could have been born in the wrong era, that you feel this sort of affinity for the 1930s. Is it the sort of romanticized, like I loved the style of films and stuff they were making then, or is there something, do you think, like in terms of values or culture or something that just feels better in the 1930s?
Mm, I think it's more movies. Um, yeah, definitely more from the movie point of view. Movies just seemed more like over the top, and it was all singing and all
Yeah.
dancing and passionate, and
Well,
yeah,
there was something very magical about it as well. Like this whole kind of
yeah,
new uh, art form really kind of came in, like sort of music and dancing and acting on a screen where people, it wasn't theater, it was
yes,
film, and you could edit it together and make it otherworldly and stuff. So yeah, it was a very hopeful time, I think. I mean, also
yeah,
interestingly, you're going back to an era called the Great Depression, uh, which is very British. Like I think it says a lot about modern Britain when you're saying, "Nah, I'll go back to the Great Depression."
yeah.
Actually, like things. Have you, knowing what you know of that era, what do you think you could do to kind of set yourself apart from the Ginger Rogers and the Judy Garlands and stuff?
Throw in some new dance moves that they've never seen before.
Of course.
What's it called that they all do? The drag queens do. When they suddenly
Oh,
just
I wish I
drop on the
knew.
floor. What's it called?
Oh no, I don't watch enough RuPaul to know this. I
People
wish
will
I
know what I
did.
mean. Like they've got one leg bent back, and then they kind of like go. I'll have to send you a picture of it. I forget
Please
what it's
do.
called.
Yeah, this
Like
sounds
some kind of
incredible.
drop, and I'd go in and do something like that.
What?
Like some kind of slut drop.
And then
Have you seen this?
a 1930s slut drop.
With tap shoes on.
And then you'll be accused of being a witch.
Yeah, this has
1930s. Ah,
backfired.
slut drop witch. there's there's an argument, that people say a thing of like even the kind of lowest quality of life we sort of have now, like kind of poorer people, working class, who don't have much, live better now than kings did in the olden days, which I don't really buy at all.
Mm.
But would you be willing to kind of forego your sort of modern conveniences and comforts to spend a bit of time in the 1930s to try to make it?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think if I was a movie star, I'd probably be doing all right. I'd probably be doing better than I am now. I
Yeah.
think I think life would be pretty good.
Life would be pretty sweet, yeah. I mean, Ginger Rogers was like one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, but she
Yeah,
was tied into this deal with a studio, I think RKO Pictures or something.
yeah,
And so she wasn't the highest paid star in Hollywood until like 1945, I think, was the first
right.
year where when she was freelance, she could actually earn. So would you have any kind of, would you back yourself to negotiate a good deal with a studio? Like, would you stand your ground and be like, no, you're going to pay me to do this?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that they need you. Like,
Yeah,
there's no one
yeah,
else that could do it, you know? You've got
sure.
something no one else has got. An Etch-a-Sketch.
Your secret weapon. I love this. The Etch a Sketch is going with you everywhere. Well, it's funny.
Um,
Uh, we talked a little bit about how, the 1930s might not have everything that we have now, but maybe there were some things that were better. So
mm,
I want to kind of, I want you to compare a few things for me. So I'm going to, again, give you a list and I
don't know
want you to
much
say,
about this. Like I said, I didn't think these through. I just jumped in the time machine and was like, 1930s, a bit of tap dancing. Let's go there.
I think you'll know these things. Like I'm gonna give you some choices from like different categories, like cinema, politics,
Okay.
beauty, vehicles, that kind of thing. And I just want you to tell me what do you think is better, the 1930s option or the 2000s option?
Okay.
So nice, easy one to start with. Cinema: The Wizard of Oz or The Human Centipede?
The Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Nice, simple one. Music: Benny Goodman and his orchestra or Carly Rae Jepsen?
Oh, Benny Goodman and his orchestra.
I like Carly Rae, though.
Oh, do you?
I am unashamed to say I really, 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 really like her. But yes, Benny Goodman might edge it. Now, this is a tricky one. Which
Okay.
is better, the rise of far right fascism in the 1930s
Oh, that
or
is
the
tricky.
rise of far right fascism in the 2000s?
Hmm. I'm gonna say 2000s. I feel
Mm.
like we might have a chance to for it not to go as tits
Oh,
up as back then, possibly.
oh, that's enthusiastic.
That's
That's
hopeful,
good.
actually, isn't it, for
That
me?
is hopeful.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. And the last one, let's go with beauty standards. So,
Ooh,
permed
okay.
eyelashes from the 1930s
Okay.
or bleached assholes in the 2000s.
I'm gonna go permed eyelashes.
My bleach guy would not forgive me if I didn't say bleached assholes. This episode is brought to you by bleached assholes.
I know a few bleached arseholes.
Do you think you want to go back? You want to sing? You want to tap? You want to dance?
Yeah.
Um, do you think you would have any aspirations of being like the first really big like female kind of writer director? Because it
Ooh.
was an era that was kind of dominated. Do you know what? Weirdly, there was one role in cinema that women did kind of dominate, like one of the sort of technical roles, which was editing,
Oh,
because it was
okay.
literally like sewing. So they thought women would be better at it. So,
Oh
you
my
cut up
God.
all the film and the way that you sew it and make it all flow together, that was dominated by women.
Wow.
Uh, but there were very few kind of. There were some big writers. I think only one of the kind of big silent movie era directors that made the transition into talking pictures was a woman. But yeah, do you think that would be something like you'd like to kind of break the glass ceiling a bit if you went back and.
Yeah, possibly. The writing side. Directing has never been something I've been as interested in, actually. Apart
Mm,
from with my own stuff, when I do like my own solo kind of stuff.
sure,
And I
yeah,
think, but
yeah.
yeah, but definitely the writing side of things. Um,
But
just like the
again,
idea of dancing and singing and that, but living in I think I just want to live in one of those movies. That's
oh,
it.
okay,
It's not so
yeah.
much the time period. I just want to live in a fairy tale, Connor. Okay. I want to walk down the street, the birds are singing, and then I just start tap dancing.
That is, yeah. I'm not sure that even a time machine is going to be able to
No.
help you with that, but well, three amazing choices as we head back to 2026.
Mm.
Do you think, on the balance of everything that you've considered, you're quite happy to be in 2026 as Kayleigh, living with lovely Dan in your nice house on a farm, or do you still think you'd rather be in a musical in the 30s?
I think I'm happy here, but I would be rich because I would have given 15-year-old me some lottery numbers. So everything else would be the same. And I'd have loads of money.
That is the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Come back to 2026 loaded.
Just unable to open your door. It's like, damn, all my
Yeah.
gold bars are in the way. It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
Okay, I loved those choices. I think you're using the time machine the way that I think most people would and should. Like, why not go back and make your life better? You know, sure, I have all the
Yeah.
respect in the world for people who want to go back and see the inside of a pyramid or whatever. Like, grand, good for you. But yeah, make me rich.
Yeah.
I'm with you
Give me
there.
a better career.
You're touring your brilliant show at the minute. After your tour, do you have any plans to like write a new show, or is it just looking too far ahead? Do you just want to get the show?
Yeah, I've got bits of ideas. I've got idea for for a new comedy show, but also a play, and scripts. I think I need to have a step back and just start seeing which ideas bubble to the top and make me want to jump on board.
Your idea of going back and framing Matthew Hopkins as the Witchfinder General.
Maybe I need to go back into that. Yeah,
that'd make a cracking like a comedy radio series where you go back and try to frame him. I would listen to that all day long.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
I think so. Keep an eye on this space next year on Radio 4.
Me with my Etch-a-Sketch.
If people listening to this want to see your amazing show and want to know where you're gigging, that kind of thing, what's the best place to find out all that information?
So all links to my show dates and tickets for that will be on my website, which is kayleighjones.co.uk. And I tend to update about gigs and stuff on Instagram, which is Kayleigh_M_Jones.
Well, we will add those links into the episode description. Kayleigh, I'm so grateful for you making the time, and thank you so much for your fantastic choices, and I hope to see you again soon.
You too. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Kayleigh. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you so much to the brilliant Kayleigh Jones for a super conversation. If you can see Kayleigh live, I really can't recommend her highly enough. She's such a great performer and writer. I'll pop links in the episode description to her social accounts and her website, and really from there, it's over to you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode and indeed any other episodes that you've listened to in the series. We're now halfway through the first series and we're taking a little breather for a week, but we'll be back with another episode very soon. I have so many great guests lined up. I genuinely cannot wait for you to hear them. Please continue to like and share, subscribe, rate, all that stuff. If you're estranged from a family member, or if you regret letting an old and valued friendship fizzle out, why not get in touch with a recommendation to listen to this podcast? It could rekindle an old fire, and before you know it, the Time Machine podcast has healed something that at one point seemed to be irreparably broken. That's a thing, right? Enough from me. I'm off next week. I'll be back the week after. Thank you so much again, and bye-bye.